from Timidakolo always sets the pace for the program, State of the National Political Program on Lagoon Radio. Good morning. That's how we welcome you to today's edition of the program. Today, Thursday, the 9th day of March, 2023. I am Anosike Chimeze, your regular host on the program. And today, we'll be looking at the gubernatorial and House of Assembly election. Coincidentally, last night, the news came out that the election has been postponed by 1 week because of what happened in the court yesterday. Remember, the INEC got the nod to go and reconfigure the beavers. And for the INEC, reconfiguring that over 176,000 beavers would take up to 4 days before you talk about delivery to the states. So that's why the major reason the election has been postponed for 1 week. But that's notwithstanding, this morning we'll be speaking with he is the media aide to Lagos Island local government chairman and a former councillor, Ward C3 Isalegongo, Lagos Island. He's no other person than a friend of the house, Honorable Olusola Emmanuel Ajayi. Honorable, good morning and welcome to the program this morning.
Good morning, bro. It's a pleasure as usual to be here.
Okay, the last time you were here, in fact, will I say you made a prediction or you prophesied, or I don't know the word you said next time you're coming on the program, it will be a congratulation for your presidential candidate, Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. So on that note, congratulations on the victory on that poll on 25th February. So congratulations on that victory. Let's start with that. How, an overview of that election, the presidential election, what's your take on that election? There has been agitations. There has been, in fact, some have said that it was never free and fair. But what's your own take on that election on 25th of February?
Thank you for the question. My own take on it is this. First of all, before you take a side on a discussion as this, you look at the indices that are on ground for you to make up your own take. Now, this is the first electronic election we're going to do. And with electronics, the way they work, you see phone makers, they do one phone today. 3 months later, 1 year later, they come up with another one. You see app developers, they do one app today. A couple of times later, they'll come up with a modification on it. We are not perfect in doing elections. These are first electronic election. This is expected. We expected things like this to favor us or to work against us. That's what planning is all about. Now, we should also remember that this election is the first time that at the forefront we are going to be confidently say that we have, of the numerous presidential candidates, we had 4 leading aspirants. Initially, it used to be just 2. That's another one. Also, this election, the past one that we just had, is one whereby a wave of happenings in the country is already pointing fingers to the kind of election we're going to have. And I'm glad that I'm back here. I remember in 2020, during the NSAS COVID-19 scheme of things, I was still a serving councillor at that time. I came here, whoever has the link can go to the Lagoon Radio website and verify that I said the election coming up in 2023 is going to be very different from the elections we have had in Nigeria. And I said that here. It wasn't a prediction. It was because you can see things and know that that's going to come out. Now, for my party and for us, we are very glad that we emerged the winner. But I can tell you, my take personally from it all is this. It's not just that Asiwaju won. It's the fact that the voice of Nigerians came out loud and clear for the first time in our elections. Again, I don't think we've ever had any election in the nation called Nigeria that people will say was free and fair. except for the Hope 93 election that never come to fall. So people have bias on one side or the other. But for me, as a political party member, who I'm very glad my take is that my party won, as an individual, a democratic individual who wants the love of Nigeria as it at heart, I'm very glad that even the winner will tell you there's no winner, there's no vanquished in this election. I'm very glad that my take from it is that the voice of Nigerian, especially the voice of youths, which goes back to NSAS that I said, it opened up a new vista in how our elections is going to be managed and going to work. I mean, I don't let me begin to jump because we're just starting this interview. I will just leave it at that for now. Thank you.
Okay, that aside, now from what transpired on that day, looking forward to the governorship election, what's the chances of your party, the incumbent governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, what's his chances of being re-elected by Lagosians on 16th of March, 17th of March?
18th?
Okay, 18th of March. What's his chance of being re-elected by Lagosians?
Our chances are very strong as usual. And anybody can take that to the bank. Our chances are very strong. The fact that we lost in the presidential election, again, has a lot of indices that made that possible. And I don't want to begin to analyze those indices, not like giving snippets to the opposition. But the fact is this, to just mention a few. We had a presidential election that had a Muslim ticket. And Lagos is a very cosmopolitan city. Some of that fact added to the numbers our opposition got. That's number one. Another one, the angst of the youths, the ways coming forward, is another factor in it. Another one is this. Some people of the electorate, they just vote along their lines. But let me tell you something. I can confidently tell you that Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu is going to emerge again for a second term, a second tenure as the governor of Lagos after the gubernatorial elections next week. And I would expect again that when next I'm going to come here, you congratulate me on that again. Thank you.
Okay, having said that, are there internal rancors in your party, Lagos APC? Are there internal rancors?
We might. I mentioned internal rancors when I came here the last time for the presidency. But Lagos is a united front. We no doubt. There could be, not within the party, rancors within Lagosians. But I can tell you, as a party, as a political party, we stand firm, we stand strong. We've realized what our faults are from the presidential outcome because it was embarrassing. No, I shouldn't even talk about that. It was highly embarrassing. But still, we can tell you categorically that there are no internal rancors and the party is standing as one to ensure that our candidate emerges for a second term. Thank you.
Okay, this will be the first time, in the new dispensation that a Lagos state governor is seeking re-election after Ambode. Ambode did a term. Now, Babajide Sanwo-Olu has done a term and he's seeking re-election. Ambode was not on the ballot for the last election. Now, are there chances for, because some people have said that with what happened, like you said, you don't want to mention it, but it's a history now. Some people will say that with what happened in the presidential election, that the opposition, when we talk about the opposition, we'll have the ADC, we'll have the Labour Party, and also the PDP, who are the front runners in this governorship election. And a lot of people have predicted that they will give the governor of Lagos a run for his money on this election. And do you see that going? Because when during the presidential election, INEC were saying that they are already getting ready for another election, supplementary, if it was head-to-head or something like that. Now, do you see such happening in Lagos this time?
No. It's not going to, to have a rerun?
Yes.
No, it's not going to happen.
Okay, it's going to be an outright victory for APC.
It's going to be an outright victory for the All Progressive Congress.
Okay.
And the reason for that is this. We have our faults. we have our rancors in the federal party system. But for Lagos, we know what caused the reactions we got. You understand? The in quote, crisis, monetary crisis, fuel crisis that was set in place before those elections had a part to play, which I didn't mention earlier. But I can tell you now that this election, I mean, I don't want to come on here. I can tell you again to say it, that the numbers they had for the presidential election, I highly doubt the opposition will get up to that number. Please write that down.
Okay.
I highly doubt that they will have up to that number. And the number we had for the presidential election, I'm sure that it's going to go higher than we had for the president. That we're going to go higher than we're going to have for the gubernatorial elections. Let me just leave it at that.
Some people will say that politicians are too confident. And you sound so confident this morning. Now, let's look at what gives you that confidence on the first term of Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Maybe his achievements or what. What is giving you that confidence and assurance this morning that Babajide Sanwo-Olu will be re-elected for the second term?
Thank you. We can see and we know what he has been able to achieve. And I won't list out projects directly, but what I would say is this: the impact of the sustainable administration is running for Lagos on the team's agenda is visible on all fronts. We had a rail system that has been on the works for so long completed. That's the blue rail. We have a red rail line that's been in conceptualization stage for so long, commenced the process of construction of the red line. That's on now. We have a rice mill that was in the works and uncompleted by former administration, completed and functional now. We have a deep sea port, completed and functional now. We have the Lekki airport in the process of being started, already started actually. We have the Fort Milan Bridge to be commenced shortly. We have schools that have been built across the different districts, both senatorial and the 6 divisions of Lagos. We have roads that have been made, internal roads that are ongoing. I mean, like, and all these were achieved under 4 years. 4 years that is not complete 4 years. You know why? Because we had truncation with COVID, we had truncation with NSAS. Let's put sentiments aside. Politics is logical, it's not emotion. That's the truth. Let me tell you something. For an opposition, I mean, I don't want to be denigrating the oppositions, but I know the person who all are looking forward to now is the Labour Party candidate, because of the votes the Labour Party has in Lagos. But let me tell you something. The fact that we had an Peter Obi on the ballot box is different from the fact that we have a Venerable Chinedu Rodzivo on the ballot box. A lot of people came out for that election because of so many reasons, and one of them that I won't discount is the fact that a lot of Southeasterners, they want a Southeastern presidency for Nigeria. I want it as well. I've mentioned this on the platform before, and I still reiterate it. But the thing is this: power, governance is not served a la carte. You work and build for it. When Asiwaju came on board and said it's been his lifelong ambition to become president, people talk like, is it your father's business? Do your lifelong ambition? But the fact is this: if you have a lifelong ambition for something, so many small things that you do now is going to be different. If you want to build a high rise, the time you are going to spend working on the foundation is going to be different than if you want to build a bungalow or a 3-story building. So where I'm going to is this: we want a Southeastern president. Every democratic Nigeria wants that, not being partisan. But you play the politics the way it's played for you to get there. Asiwaju played it and secured his line across Nigeria. After his governorship, he was building those structures to make it happen. MK Abiola did the same thing before he got his presidential election. And the way I still reiterate, I tell people, you can't become president of Nigeria by doing away with the North, because this is the map of Nigeria. And if you look at people who copulate the more, people who give birth the more, it's Northerners. So you can't be the president. Now, if you are saying it's my region, it's my people, I want to be president, look at the votes the Labour Party candidate got. Look at the massive votes. Highest voter outturn in Nigeria was in Southeast. Southeast, that some people tell them not to come out on Monday before. How did that happen? But if you're not building bridge across the channel, Nigeria is not a one man's land, and it's definitely not a no man's land. So if you want to win for president of Nigeria, you have to work across those divides. Now back to Lagos. Some people who worked so much for Peter Obi, the fact that Peter Obi didn't emerge, will sit back behind. So I'm still going to come out to state it again. We are going to win, and we are confident of winning. Thank you.
Okay, you're still listening to Honorable Olusola Emmanuel Ajayi. We are looking at the gubernatorial elections that will be happening on the 18th of March 2023. Remember, it was originally slated for this 11th of March, but was postponed last night. We'll go on this short break. When we come back, we look at some other rising matters that the Honorable will be speaking to us this morning in Lagos, and the chances of the Governor Sanwo-Olu being re-elected by 18th of March. Keep listening to us. We'll be right back after this break. Yes, we believe in this nation, and we will all get there. And part of building the nation is the election process. That's the words of Timi Dakolo in that song, Great Nation. Is 10:30 on Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio in Nigeria and the official radio of the Anglican Communion Diocese of Lagos. Transmitting live from the Diocesan Media Center, 29 Marina, Lagos. Don't forget, you can download the app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. Follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Lagoon Radio Nigeria, and on Twitter and Instagram, Lagoon Radio NG. This morning, we'll have Honorable Olusola Emmanuel Ajayi. He is the SA Media Lagos Island chairman, and he is also a former councillor of Ward C3, Lagos Island. It's a Lagos Island. And he has been talking to us this morning about the chances of the governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, being re-elected by the 18th of March. Like we told you earlier, remember the election was postponed last night because the INEC wants to reconfigure the beavers, because whatever that what turned out in the presidential election, so they want to come clean this time around on the beavers. Now, Honorable, let's look at some of the candidates. You know, one thing I love about politics is that someone once told me that you can never take propaganda away from politics, and that is the fact. Now, earlier we had the candidate of the PDP who was making the waves, and his slogan was Lagos for Lagos. Now, attention has shifted. We are now having the Labour Party candidate, Rev'd, and the ADC candidate also, Doherty, who is also making the waves. And all of them are claiming that they have the chance to unseat the governor of Lagos. In fact, Jandor, on his own, he said that it is no longer time for Baba Sope. Is anything like that in Lagos politics?
Baba Sope is everywhere governance and politics is. It's called godfatherism in English language. Even in the American elections, it happens. So, but now, what I would say instead is, Baba Sope in Lagos has not shifted, but Baba in Yoruba Oraye more, meaning Baba has no time, because Baba has other agendas to face. Baba is manning Nigeria now, and let me tell you something. Baba has no time to play Lagos politics, because he knows that his agenda to make Nigeria great, the way he wants to say it, is very, very important. And let me tell you, 4 years is very small. It's not even enough for him to do all he has to do. So Baba is not going to Sope in Lagos. That's about that. But you can't deny the fact that even in the other states, the focal point is always on Baba Sope in Lagos. But we have some other states, even in the southeast, where we have a governor that lives, and you have his son in one other parastatal, his son coming up, his son-in-law in this and that. But because, you know, it's only in Yoruba, they say, Oman Bino logo, someone that has glory to be great will have enemies. So that's why you always shout about Lagos. Let me just leave it at that. Baba Sope is everywhere in Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay, now, there has been, I know you as a progressive young Nigerian who wants the betterment of this country, but the candidacy of the Labour Party, Rev'd, is raising dust. In fact, to an extent, if you go to social media, some things have been circulating, and the tribalism aspect of Nigerians is coming up on this. Now, looking at that, he was a member of the APC, I guess. He was a member of the APC before he contested under PDP, and now Labour Party. Now, like you said, and like you acknowledged, the force which people voted in the last election, some people have predicted that if they come with that force again, that he is going to unseat the current governor of Lagos State. And now there has been a lot of reactions from people. And interestingly, what happened yesterday, the Inferno that got a market yesterday, and he was the first to visit there before the Lagos State governor. Now, are there elements in his campaign that will prepare him to that Marina house?
In all sincerity, those elements will work against him. Venerable Rhodes Vivo is a Lagos Islander.
Your brother?
Yes, from another mother. But now, it's not about having a mom who is non-Lagosian. It's not about having a mom who is non-Yoruba. It's not about having a wife who is non-Lagosian, having a wife who is non-Yoruba. Those are small things that propaganda escalates in politics, like you say. It's more about your personality as a person. I met Venerable, I think in 2012, was it 2012, 2013 or there about around that time, we both were new members in a hub in Lagos. I think he stayed for a while and then he had to travel or something, so it wasn't too long. But one thing I'm going to say is this: if you are pushing propaganda in the past that's against a set of people, and now you now need those set of people, you want to now come and govern over them, it's hard. Are we dumps? Before the Peter Obi election, before the presidential election, he already removed Chinedu from his name on Wikipedia. It was just Venerable wrote Vivo. When he saw the outcome of the election, how Peter Obi and Labour Party emerged, he went back to Wikipedia and put his Chinedu there so that people would still appreciate the confidence for that. Now, we are not dumbs. That's why when I tell you something that this is the election, even let me tell you something, if he gets the same exact number of votes they had for presidential election, we are going to massively outflow them with the number of people who are going to react to that. It's simple. I said it before. A lot of people who are championing Peter Obi because they want a Southeasterner to be president of Nigeria. A lot of people, and it wasn't just Igbo people. That do you think the presidential number Peter Obi got in Lagos was only voted by Igbo people? A lot of Yoruba people are with him. Likewise, you have a lot of Igbo people who are in the APC. We have Igbo people who are polling agents for the APC in this Lagos. But where I'm going to is this: would I, because Kano is a cosmopolitan state, even if my father is an Hausa man or a Fulani man, and my mother is from Yoruba land, my wife is from Yoruba land, and in the past, when Boko Haram was ravaging through the north, when they were ravaging and spoiling things, I was coming to social media to write contents directly or indirectly supporting what Boko Haram is doing, calling these agitations. Now I want to go back to Kano because my father is from Kano. I go and sit down on the populace of Kano. Are we blind? The internet doesn't forget. The social media doesn't forget. It's aware. I have contents from 2015 where he's posted that are in favor of the agitation of IPOB Biafra. I'm not against that. If you want to agitate, you have a process to do it. But you can't be agitating for secession from Nigeria and now want to govern the most populous and the wealthiest state in that Nigeria. So you think Yoruba people are blind, Abi? That's where tribalism will come to fall. Before the presidential election, you removed Chinedu from your name. After the presidential, I went back to Wikipedia, put Chinedu. Some Nigerians, some Yoruba people who didn't vote for Asiwaju because they want a change of Nigeria, now they begin to sit down and be like, what's the meaning of this? Now we are seeing content online where you are in support of IPOB. So it's not because his mom is an Southeasterner, it's not because his wife is a Southeasterner, but you are supporting agendas that will make Lagos to agenda. You are supporting agendas that will make Nigeria to be proper, and you now want to come and vote. You want them to come and vote for you. I mean, don't let me dwell on it too much. Tribalism has come into play because, yes, there's a passion to get a Southeasterner as president, and now that didn't work, and now tribalism is supposed to go back. But that same game that was played for the presidency is coming back now for Yorubas too, to know that we have to be tribalistic in saving our land. And this thought just came to me when I was listening to the Timi Dakolo song that played at the interval. Well, all we have to defend our land. You think say people go open high? May Chinedu can't take over Lagos.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's move forward now. The governor said that he has compensated almost the victims of the NSAS. And on the street, you hear a lot of youths because of the pains of the NSAS. And they say that, no, it is time to make that change. But from the words of the governor yesterday, when he said he has compensated almost everyone, every victim of the NSAS, do you think that have softened the minds of the youths in Lagos?
Well, nothing is perfect. but I'm sure it has softened the minds of quite a high number of people. Now let me tell you something. Even when the governor said they have compensated victims of EndSARS, if you look at the amount that has been spent, even some people who were not affected by the effects of the the October 28th, 2020, or the things preceding that in that particular month, a lot of people who had challenges they've had with police in the past. I mean, from as far back as the 90s, that were submitting petitions. I realized that these things you guys are submitting is not even part of the EndSARS, and yet they attended to it just to ease things up. I think he has played his part. He's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But if you look at the indices on ground without being biased, no doubt you're going to rate him high. But the thing is this, most of our politicians, the way we see it in Nigeria, we don't appreciate them while they are in the position. It's when they leave that hot seat, they step away. People now be saying, it's even better than this one that is there now. That's when they begin to realize. So Nigerians will realize, Lagosians will realize the work Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has done probably at the end of his second term in the next 4 years, because I'm still going to come back again. Imagine as governor.
Now, some people have said that because of this re-election, that the governor have soft pedaled in discipline of Lagos. Okada, they are back in Lagos. The last time I remember, the governor, in fact, there is a total ban of on Okada in Lagos. Now, Okada and indiscipline is returning in a state. And some critics or some oppositions have said, this is not the right way to go. That is a sort of vote buying. Is that a correct argument?
It's not a correct argument, and it's not a sort of vote buying.
Okay.
Governments make policies, and when they make those policies, they come out hard on it. Along the line, sometimes it's soft pedals because of different reasons. When the Okadas were banned, they were not banned outright in Lagos. There were some select locations that Okada men still have legit work, and they are doing it there. But immediately after the ban, what we began to see was military men camouflaging as Okada riders. There was a day I was coming from somewhere. I got down at CMS here. I saw the task force officials scrambling with Okada men, and they left some people who were somewhere in mufti, somewhere in uniform. And I started. I mean, as a Nigerian, forget the fact that I'm a politician. I started talking there that if you are going to ban Okada, ban it totally. Some of those men were just looking at me. You understand? But as I was saying, I talk with sense. I was abusing them. I was moving away. I didn't stay closer to them abusing them. Say that they don't go chop me. But the reality is this: when the government makes policies along the line, when you look at the reactions on ground, sometimes you soft pedal. The fact that you're soft pedaling doesn't mean you won't come back with it. The fact that you're soft pedaling means, I mean, when the Okada thing were removed from ground, a lot of people were affected. Personally, I use Okada steadily. But we started getting used to it and working on it. Now, if they are coming back, people will tell you, I lost my job because of the reality on ground. People will tell you, I lost this. I'm just using the Okada to manage. Even those Okada that are back, I will tell you confidently that policemen are still chasing them around. They are not like, it's not like because governor subpedaled on it or something, they are now back fully and they are looking away. No, that's why it's still working. You understand? So it's not like we are buying votes with it. If we say Okada must leave some areas in Lagos for the perfect Lagos we want, it still has to happen. Even if another governor comes, it's still going to be pushed to a certain level. Look at all the presidential candidates. All of them are agreeing that we have to say no to subsidy in petrol. And let me tell you something. Any president, we are already president, thank God. But any president who is going to change subsidy is going to still have challenge with Labour, whether you like it or not. Sure. So you can't be perfect, even in policies, but you ensure that at least it gets to a level where majority of the impacted populace have effects and feelings on it. So on Okada, I'll tell you that insecurity People use snatching bags with Okada. That was doing this with Okada. Has absolutely not completely reduced, but to a certain very good level. Let me leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay, you're still listening to State of the National Political Program on Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio in Nigeria and the official radio of the Anglican Communion Diocese of Lagos. Don't forget to download the app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. Follow us on our social media platforms. And one question, we have a question. It says, many vehicles were seized as a result, and most owners were asked to pay before release. But the state government has ordered immediate release of these vehicles. She wants to know why that reason, or is it a form of vote buying? You know, like I said, the Okada ban, and there was speculations. In fact, some people confirmed that LASMA are no longer very, very active, like the way they subcharge people and the rest of them. And people, their cars were impounded. They have been released. She wants to know if it's a form of vote buying.
And LASMA hasn't soft-pedaled in their work. I think it was 6 months or about 8 months ago, the governor clamped on their powers because he felt they were. So it's not something that happened with votes. It's not because before this presidential election. Probably the person is just getting notice of this. And you know, as propaganda swells in politics, probably she just got notice of it and thinks it's what was caused by this. No. If you look online and look at the policy on LASMA and things, it's not even this year. It's not even second quarter of last year. Please go online and verify. So there are some things some people are aware of, but general of people are not aware of it until situations like this that escalates it. So it's not something that was done recently as a sort of vote buying. It's something that was like long before now. Thank you.
Okay, we are into the closing moments of this program. Now, someone said that our major problem in Nigeria, in fact, after the presidential election, because of some agitation, someone said he's not going to pray for Nigeria again. And someone said that God has already answered our prayer in Nigeria, that the second stanza of the national anthem is where the prayer lies. And God has already answered. But we, the citizens, has failed to key into that prayer. And one of them, he said, guide our leaders' rights and help our youths the truth to know. And someone argued, said that youths of these days don't know the truth, that they are being misled by the old leaders.
There's a context you have to look at that statement from. So the context the person is speaking from might be different from mine.
Okay.
That the youths are not knowledgeable. They are being misguided. Who told you that? That wasn't where I expect that question to go. Who told the youths are not knowledgeable? Youths are not knowledgeable. And has happened. Even though it was
not knowledgeable, the truth.
They know the truth. When they come to know the truth, they come out to the fore. Technology is helping us to get more exposed. Let me tell you something. Somebody that went to primary school can sit down on Facebook or WhatsApp and learn things that somebody who doesn't have access to that technology and went to higher school doesn't know about. So I won't say our youths are not exposed. It's the exposure of our youths that, again, I reiterate, Peter Obi and Labour Party are riding on. The exposure of our youths brought about NSAS in the initial stage before it was truncated by people who had external forces. I said it here the last time. They can go and verify online on your website that NSAS started with the pure intention of Nigerian youths, but along the line, external forces with negative intentions came to put their hands in the broth, and too many hands spoils it. So that's it. So it's not Nigerian. Who's getting Nigerian youths? If Nigerian youths are not knowledgeable, Peter Obi wouldn't get the reaction he's getting. I tell you, it's not the Peter Obi brand that got this far. It's not the Labour Party brand that got this far. It's, like I told you in 2020, the reactions of Nigerian youth that is on a wave, which I'm sure even our own party and all other parties are already knowing that the way you are going to look at the average Nigerian youth then is different from now. So if politicians used to control 100 Nigerian youths before, 100%, now I can tell you that is speedily coming down. Thank you.
Okay, still on that second stanza, like a lot of people the opposition too have argued that this present government has neglected the federal character and the equity and meritocracy in our governance. And on that second stanza, I said, in love and honesty to grow, and living just and true, great lofty heights attained. And finally, it's rounded off with, to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. But it's like, recently, peace and justice has eluded us in this nation. You know, a lot of people make cases of the last Supreme Court judgment on Agboro, on the Senate president. And when you talk about peace, recently, someone cannot travel to certain areas across the country because of high insecurity. Now, we are looking forward into the next administration. Looking at the next administration, is it what the peace and justice, is it what we can say that we can get in the next administration?
Absolutely. It's what we are going to get. The reason being that is this. Our president-elect is somebody that we knows how to build bridges across divides. Is very, very good at it. Now, before President Muhammadu Buhari came into force in 2015 as a president, we had the land size of Bulgaria, where Boko Haram already had their flag hoisted. Size of Bulgaria. When you clamp down on that and you gain your land back, those people who are in that space will start spreading around. Now, that's why the small pockets of here and there insecurity and violence we have all around. Now, it's not just about destroying something, it's about nipping it in the bud. As in, destroying the roots properly to ensure it works the way it should work. Asiwaju has one of his characteristics that we know, one of his attributes that we know is calling warring parties together and finding a solution. So we can tell you, to have justice and peace to reign in Nigeria, what brings about peace? Unity. Everybody sitting down around at the round table and having discussions that we're supposed to have. That's what brings justice. And we can see that from when we had a couple of governors in AD in 1999, when it got to 2003, it was the last man standing, and they started. You don't build political parties without constituting unity and peace in your domain. From AC to ACN to APC, we match with different parties across the Niger and across Nigeria. That's how unity and peace is done. So when you have, that's why we tell people that somebody's ability, somebody's what he can do comes to fore. Your character, your personality comes to fore in any role you find yourself. Now, if Asiwaju has from a state got ACN to become a regional party through formations and partnership with other people, got the APC to become a national party through formation, seeking unity, then I can tell you that now that he's at the helms of affairs as the number one citizen of Nigeria, the unity and the justice that we so much deserve, we are going to get. Thank you.
Now, back in Lagos, proper closing moment. What would be your message? You know, there is still tension in the land, no matter how you look at it. What would be your message to Lagosians as we are looking forward to this governorship and House of Assembly elections? What would be your message, especially the youths who are out there, their blood is hot and the rest of them? What would be your message to them in Lagos?
My message to Lagosians, both indigenous and non-indigenous, is to note that you don't go to primary school and say you're out of it. You want to be a rector of a university. A lot of people got into politics via agitation of changing governance and how it works, from NSAS and the other things. Got into politics from 2020 till now. You don't know it all enough. No doubt, like I mentioned before, some people have been helped by the surge that we've seen. We had somebody who didn't expect to win to get a ticket, and they won. People don't even. Somebody said I voted for a Labour Party. Who is even the House of Reps, or who is even the Labour Party candidate? But I just voted because Peter Obi was on Labour Party. I voted Labour all across the line. I was asking, who is the name? What is the antecedent of the person? Now, we shouldn't let our governance be blinded by hatred. Some people voted against their own kinsman, who was in the House of Reps, and voted for Labour Party. The candidate, that's in the north, someplace in the north, the candidate of the Labour Party is an Igbo man. Some people voted in Lagos for the Labour, everything is Labour, LUP, and they just voted like that without assessing who that candidate is. Now, I'm going to ask Lagosians, Lagos youths, to look and open their eyes. If you are a true Lagos youth and not somebody to be blindfolded, look at all the candidates that we have on the table. Look at the experience they have had in governance. There's no one who's been a governor of Lagos who had not had some service in government one way or the other. People who are coming now, you don't just be a technocrat and come into politics. It's not done that way. You're going to have serious challenges. And I'm going to finalize it on this. We had a lot of challenges in Lagos during Asiwaju's governorship time because the center could not align with us. But for Asiwaju's pragmatism and the knowledge he has, the economic knowledge he had as a personality before, he was able to work on raising our IGR as Lagos to cushion the facts of the challenge he had with the federal government. Is this now the right time to put Lagos in an opposition again when you've worked from 1999 to get your own son from this Lagos for the first time elected as the president of Nigeria? We need to think and think hard. It's not the right time. There's time and season for everything. But this right time now, the time for the federal government election we had was apt and it was very good. It makes everybody sit right and stand on their toes. But the time for the change of guard in Lagos is not now. We've had a governor of Lagos who's worn our shoes as a Lagosian and he knows where the shoe pinches. Now, in the helms of affair, as the number one man of Nigeria, is it time to push ourselves into the opposition? That's not even going to happen. That's my message to Nigerian and Lagosian youths. Thank you.
Okay, that's where we leave it this morning on State of the National Political Program on Lagoon Radio. Thanks to Honorable Olutayo Emmanuel Ajayi for coming on the show. We hope to see you again whenever we call on you. Okay, and thanks to you for listening to the program, and thanks to our producer Sandra Nche for pressing the right buttons this morning. From me and Osike Chimezie is goodbye and do enjoy your day. But please make sure that you abide that tenets of democracy. Be peaceful. Go about your lawful businesses. Don't harass anybody. And make sure that you contribute in building that nation where peace and justice shall reign. Goodbye and do enjoy your day.